Negativity bias is our tendency to pay more attention and to react more strongly to the negative events in our lives rather than the positive events. So, how come that our minds operate like Velcro for the negative events and like Teflon for the positive events? So, interestingly, this unconscious bias is a product of our evolution. It's designed for our own survival. So, it aided our ancestors in making intelligent decisions in the past in high risk situations, perhaps just like we're experiencing right now during COVID 19. Apparently, there is also a difference between how men and women react and experience negativity bias. Women are more likely to internalize those feelings in forms of sadness, anxiety, fear, depression, whereas men are more likely to externalize them with an outward anger, for instance. And this bias has a tendency to result in fear of rejection, fear of failure, imposter syndrome, and lots of suffering to the person who is experiencing and to their surrounding because it's pretty contagious, negativity bias. As well as there is a major loss in your productivity. Just think of all the time you're thinking and dwelling on negative events rather than the positive events in your life. So, how can we overcome it? In a study conducted in the US, participants in the mindfulness group demonstrated less negativity bias and higher levels of optimism compared to the control group. And together with other studies that I'm familiar with, it's very clear that mindfulness decreases our emotional reactivity to negative events, potentially leading also to less social friction and anxiety producing situation, uncertainty like we experience right now. So, when we practice mindfulness, we can nurture a feeling of psychological safety. We can identify in real time our unconscious bias and then choose our reaction rather than react automatically. So, we choose to respond skillfully rather than react. And then we can actively work on our communication style, on our behaviors, and most importantly, on our attitudes, which are so noticeable these days where we're so much, with other people in our close homes and surrounding. So that way we can foster also values like compassion, like kindness, like empowerment. Therefore, playfully, I've decided to challenge you today and practice one of my tools, my favorite tools, called BIAS. It's an acronym. It starts with a B. The B stands for breathe. So I invite you all now to just do a mini check in. Take a moment, stop and observe what's going on. And then I stands for identify in real time your unconscious bias, whether it's negativity bias or other biases. Just notice what's going on. And you can also identify for the other person sitting next to you. Do they suffer from negativity bias? Just notice, observe what's going on. And then accept the situation, your feelings. Don't fight it, don't try to force it or make it go away. It only makes it worse. So just accepting the situation, and as we're all connected, try to also express a non-judgmental approach with curiosity and openness to whatever arises. And then speak up, surface it, demonstrate compassion and care for your family members, for your colleagues, or perhaps even for yourself if you experience negativity bias within. So speak up, or you can also mirror back what you've heard to your partner or to your colleague with the heart. So I invite you to start practicing and let me know how it goes and stay positive.